European Christianity is having a hell of a moment in video games right now. I'd argue even more so than beating up dudes on the streets of Japan, which has kind of been video games' thing for the past 5 years now. On this channel previously, we've covered Shadow Generations as soft confirmation of the existence of the Christian devil in the Sonic universe, but now we've got even bigger fish to fry: hell itself with Donkey Kong Bananza, which, would you believe it, is almost certainly a retelling of the 14th century Italian epic Dante's Inferno. Not convinced yet? Oh, you will be, for my name is Fudge, my degree is in writing, my prospects are in limbo, and today we're gonna dive into Donkey Kong Bananza's Infernal Implications. A quick refresher on Dante's Inferno for anyone not currently in their 14th century Italian comedy era: it is the first part of a 3-part epic poem known as the Divine Comedy. And though logging onto X the Everything app every day and seeing AI generated political propaganda and unsolicited femboy schlong may have you convinced otherwise, most of our modern ideas of what hell might be actually come from this. In Inferno, a fictionalized and slightly exaggerated Dante is on a mission from God to descend through the 9 circles of hell, accompanied by his friend, the real-life ancient Roman poet Virgil, whom Dante looked up to a lot and glazes like a donut throughout the story. Now, a quick refresher on Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is a big ape who likes bananas, and in 2025's Donkey Kong Bananza specifically, he's burrowing through layer after layer of a vast underground world in search of said bananas. You see the parallels already, I'm sure, but it goes deeper. I mean, it's underground, that's kind of the point. The circles, or sometimes layers of hell in Dante's Inferno, represent different sins. The first circle, Limbo, for example, is comprised of the virtuous yet unfaithful, those who were never baptized or who just so happened to be born before Christ, which is, pretty rough. I mean, you miss out on the light of heaven just because you were born before Jesus, and you get more birthday beats. The second circle is Lust, characterized by its unceasing, howling winds, inhabited by those who gave in to their romantic passions and vices, as well as, with any luck, these bricked up femboys who keep showing up on my For You page. The idea of Dante's Inferno is that as Dante and Virgil get deeper into hell, the sins committed by the denizens of each layer get more serious and insidious, and thus their punishments get more extreme. And this is our biggest point of convergence between Dante's version and Nintendo's version, aside of course from the fact that Dante is now a gorilla. Whilst I believe that every layer in Donkey Kong Bananza is representative of a sin in accordance with the beliefs of Middle Ages Christianity, they don't perfectly match up with each other, nor are there the same amount of layers. The closest thing to Dante's description of the second circle of hell, Lust, in DK Bananza is the Tempest layer, layer 900, which would suggest that Nintendo view lust as a far more serious sin than Dante did. Unsurprising, given the amount of Mario Brothers yaoi I've emailed them over the years. Being layer 900 also debatably lines the Tempest layer up with the 9th and final circle of hell in Dante's Inferno, which is reserved for the likes of Judas and Brutus, those guilty of treason, which Dante asserted was the most heinous sin of all. So is this saying Nintendo thinks that lust is the most serious sin? I think not, because Bananza's world goes far deeper than layer 900. Circles 7 through 9, specifically of Dante's Inferno, also have multiple subsections and designated trenches for different permeations of the same sin. So I guess what this tells us is that Nintendo presents the sins in a different order of severity, and that the structure is slightly different, but the same basic premise is absolutely still there. One of the more obvious and immediate connections between Dante's epic and Nintendo's is the presence of young Pauline, who is almost certainly fulfilling the role of Virgil, Dante's guide through hell. Dante reveres Virgil as a writer, and Virgil frequently negotiates the pair's safe passage by reminding would-be assailants that Dante is on a mission from God, and is thus under his protection. DK, as an amateur musician capable only of playing the drums badly in some middling games from the mid-2000s, likewise admires Pauline's singing ability, her voice the main tool that allows the pair to overcome many of the obstacles that stand in their way. Many people assert that young Pauline's appearance in this game contradicts the Donkey Kong timeline, the original Donkey Kong Country establishing that the first Donkey Kong who captured an adult Pauline in the Donkey Kong arcade game from 1981 is now Cranky Kong. But of course, if this is true, how does Cranky Kong exist in this game as an old man whilst Pauline has only gotten younger? Only the theory that this is Nintendo's retelling of Dante's Inferno can make this make sense. Dante implemented a lot of people he knew in his real life into the story, and this is a story told from DK's perspective. It doesn't interfere with any pre-established timelines, it's a fabrication. After decades of ridicule, DK likes to imagine Cranky Kong as being in hell. You don't believe this is hell? The freezer layer is undoubtedly analogous to the third circle of hell in Dante's Inferno, Gluttony, what with its icy lowlands and frozen treats. The forest layer, what with its vicious harpies and living plants, is almost certainly the second sublayer of violence, the seventh circle of Dante's hell. I mean look, even Diddy's down here. Yeah, that's right. That's why they pay me the big bucks. There are more trivial similarities as well. In the third circle of hell, a vicious Cerberus is halted from attacking by Virgil throwing handfuls of mud from the circle's muddy ground into its mouths, which, coincidentally, is how you can beat almost every enemy in the game, including bosses. But let's talk about the final layer of DK Bananza. Contrast it with the final layer of Dante's Inferno, and examine what it tells us about what Nintendo views as the most reprehensible sin imaginable. It's important to note, by the way, that Dante's Inferno depicts multiple sins not nowadays commonly considered to be among the prototypical 7 deadly sins, such as heresy and treachery. Okay, spoilers for both properties ahead. Close to the planet's core in DK Bananza, the treasure he's been searching for the entire game is pulled out from under him by a returning King K. Rool. This, in my mind, is clearly casting King K. Rool as Lucifer, who appears in the 9th circle of hell in Dante's Inferno, punishing 3 infamous traitors, the aforementioned Judas and Brutus, as well as Cassius. Coincidentally, there are 3 members of the Voidco Mining Corporation, all of them doomed to toil away in the underground world forever, never to attain the treasure they seek. Voidkong, who's punished most fiercely with a right hook that sends him flying back presumably into the scrap draft of Madagascar 4 in which he belongs, is surely this game's stand-in for Judas. What follows is a segment in which Donkey Kong fights through an army of returning Kremlings whilst endless musical leitmotifs from the Donkey Kong Country games play. Then a section through Super Mario Odyssey's New Donk Sea, topped off with a climactic final battle with K. Rool inside a boxing ring, echoing his final boss fight in Donkey Kong 64. What Nintendo are depicting here in Donkey Kong Bananza's final circle of hell is plagiarism. And if you've followed Nintendo's works for any period of time at all, it should come as no surprise that this is what they are branding the most severe form of sin. Maybe think twice next time about posting your hard work on Pokemon Radical White all over social media, lest you too end up down here being ferociously beaten by Donkey Kong, much like this slender, young marketing analyst. Alright man, I think you gotta give it a rest. No, not in the bed with the little girl. Oh, okay, I think I know why he's in hell, guys. Thank you to our legendary tier patrons, Sleep Science, Serial Law Obeyer, Stephen Strom, Bijan Imadi, Philip Tinner, Strawberry, War Crimes Uwu, and Dr. Cruiser. If you too wish to get your name in the end credits of our YouTube videos, or in fact early access to said videos, they are some of the many benefits we offer to those who generally donate to the Church of Palette Swap over at patreon.com/PaletteSwapMag. Link will be in the description. Thank you in advance. We hope you enjoyed, but not so much that it distracts from your commitment to God, and we'll see you next time.